Chosen one, this message will change everything. If you're hearing this right now, understand, this is no coincidence. God Himself has led you here, and it's because He has a divine word for you. The things you have been praying for, hoping for, and believing in are closer than you think. But before your breakthrough comes, God needs you to trust Him like never before. You've been through storms, through battles that no one else understands. You've waited, you've sacrificed, and at times you've wondered, God, when will it be my time? But hear this, God has not forgotten you. In fact, He is preparing something so much greater than what you've even imagined. And right now, He is asking you to trust the process. This is your sign, the very thing you've been asking God to reveal to you. This is it. Pay close attention, because in these next few moments, you will receive the confirmation your spirit has been longing for. Do not ignore this. Chosen one, you are on the edge of something extraordinary, and the only thing standing between you and your breakthrough is your willingness to trust Him, even when you don't see the way. God is moving. Your blessing is coming. The question is, are you ready? God is not just watching over you. He is actively preparing you for something big, something that will not only change your life, but will also impact those around you in ways you cannot yet comprehend. Right now, even if it doesn't feel like it, you are being shaped, refined, and positioned for a divine assignment that is greater than you ever imagined. You may feel weary. You may be wondering why the struggles keep coming, why the waiting seems endless, why the breakthrough hasn't arrived yet. But what if I told you that what feels like a delay is actually divine preparation? That the pain, the rejection, the isolation, none of it was in vain? Every challenge you've endured has been a step in the process, a piece of the puzzle that is leading you to exactly where God needs you to be. Imagine a goldsmith refining pure gold. It cannot be used in its raw form. It must go through fire, through pressure, through an intense process before it shines in its full glory. That's what God is doing in your life right now. The pressure you feel, the hardship you've endured, it's not punishment. It's preparation. It's refinement. Many are called, but few are chosen. You are not like everyone else. If you were, your journey would not be so intense. The enemy would not fight so hard to break you. The world would not reject you the way it does. But because you are chosen, the process is different. The trials are greater. The refining fire is hotter. But hear me, the reward is also far beyond what most will ever experience. God has heard every prayer. He has seen every tear, and He is saying to you today, trust me, I am preparing you for something that is beyond what you've asked for. I am working behind the scenes, arranging divine appointments, aligning resources, and setting things in motion that you cannot yet see. I am making all things work together for your good. But you must trust me. You must not give up now. And here's the truth. The closer you get to your breakthrough, the more the enemy will try to distract, discourage, and derail you. He will whisper lies, make you doubt, and try to convince you that nothing is happening. But the enemy only fights what he fears. And if he's fighting you this hard, it's because he knows what's coming. He knows what God is about to release in your life. Chosen one, your time is near. You are standing at the edge of something huge, something that will shift your life forever. But there is one thing you must do. Keep trusting God, even when you can't see the full picture. The moment you feel like giving up is often the moment right before everything changes. So I ask you, chosen one, are you ready? Are you ready to trust God fully, even when the process doesn't make sense? Because if you are, then what comes next will be beyond your wildest imagination. Chosen one, you have been set apart for something greater, and this is why your journey has felt different. Others seem to move forward effortlessly, while you face obstacles at every turn. But do not be discouraged. This is not a sign that you are forgotten. It is a confirmation that you are chosen. Look at the lives of those whom God has called in the past. Moses was isolated in the wilderness before he led a nation. Joseph was betrayed and imprisoned before he was exalted to power. David was anointed as king, but had to endure years of struggle before sitting on the throne. Every chosen one in history has had to walk a path of preparation. And you, chosen one, are no different. The waiting, the struggles, the moments where you feel unseen, it's all part of God's divine process. He is building something within you that cannot be shaken. Strength, wisdom, endurance, faith that does not waver, even in the darkest moments. These are the qualities that set apart those whom God chooses to elevate. You are not being delayed. You are being prepared. Perhaps you have been asking God, "Why me? Why the rejection? Why the loneliness? Why the battles that seem never-ending?" But what if I told you that rejection was protection? That loneliness was isolation for elevation? That every battle was designed to strengthen you for what is ahead? God does not waste pain. Every tear, every trial, every heartbreak has been shaping you, refining you, and making you into the person He needs you to be for the next season of your life. The truth is, God cannot release you into your purpose too soon. If He were to give you everything you have been praying for before you were ready, it would crush you instead of bless you. And because He loves you, He is taking His time to ensure that when your moment arrives, you will be ready to receive it fully. Think about an eagle training its young. When it's time for the eaglet to fly, the mother shakes the nest, forcing it out of its comfort zone. It must fall before it learns to soar. The process is painful, but without it, the eaglet would never reach its full potential. That is what God is doing with you. He is shaking your comfort zone, removing what no longer serves you, and allowing you to experience things that feel uncomfortable, all so that you can rise. And here is the most important part. Your response during this process will determine how soon you step into your breakthrough. If you allow discouragement to overtake you, if you begin to doubt, if you let frustration cause you to step out of alignment with God's plan, you may prolong your season of preparation. But if you lean in, if you surrender, if you trust even when it's hard, then, chosen one, you will move forward at the appointed time, and nothing will be able to stop you. So let me ask you, are you willing to trust the process? Even when it doesn't make sense? Even when you cannot see what's ahead? Because if you are, then get ready. Something big is about to unfold in your life, and your faith will be the key that unlocks it. Chosen one, what you are experiencing right now is not ordinary. The trials, the delays, the silent seasons, these are not punishments. They are preparation. And I need you to understand something deep in your spirit. God is not just preparing you for a blessing. He is preparing you to become the blessing. Many people want the reward without the process. They want the throne without the wilderness, the victory without the battle. But for the chosen ones, the process is unavoidable. Why? Because what God is about to entrust to you requires a level of strength and wisdom that can only be developed through experience. The very things you've been questioning, the setbacks, the betrayals, the long nights of wondering if things will ever change, are the tools God is using to shape you into the person who can handle what's coming next. Look back on your life for a moment. Can you see it now? Can you see how everything that happened, the people who walked away, the doors that closed, the disappointments that broke your heart, were actually setting you up for something greater? The things that once made you cry will one day be the very things that strengthen your testimony. The struggles you are enduring now will be the reason you can help and inspire others when your breakthrough arrives. There is a reason you feel different. A reason you don't fit in. A reason the things that work for others don't seem to work for you. You were never meant to blend in. You were never meant to live an ordinary life. You were created to stand out, to lead, to walk in divine favor. And because of that, your journey will not look like everyone else's. When God is preparing someone for something great, He isolates them. He removes distractions. He strips away anything that could interfere with His plan. And that's why it has felt like everything is being taken away. But what if I told you that God is not taking things from you? He is clearing space for what is coming. Think about a farmer preparing the land for harvest. Before the seeds can be planted, the soil must be tilled. It must be broken apart, disrupted, and made ready for growth. That is what's happening in your life. The discomfort, the confusion, the things that feel like losses, they are not losses at all. They are signs that God is making room. So do not be discouraged when things shift. Do not let fear take root when things feel uncertain. This is the moment when faith must rise. Trust that God sees the full picture, even when all you can see is a small piece of the puzzle. Trust that He is working, even when you feel like nothing is happening. Your faith in this season is what will determine how quickly you move into the next. Will you hold on, even when it's hard? Will you keep going, even when you feel weary? Will you trust, even when the evidence around you suggests that nothing is changing? Because the truth is, something is changing, even if you can't see it yet. And if you can endure this moment, if you can stand firm in your belief that God is faithful, then what is coming next will blow your mind. Chosen one, this is your moment to decide. Will you give in to doubt, or will you rise in faith? Because one thing is certain, if you keep trusting, if you keep believing, the doors that are about to open will be far greater than anything you ever prayed for. Chosen one, I need you to hear this. God has not forgotten you. I know the waiting has been long. I know the trials have been heavy. But what if I told you that the very thing you've been asking for is closer than you think? That even now, God is aligning everything perfectly for your breakthrough? You see, when God prepares someone for something great, He doesn't just open the door. He makes sure the person walking through it is ready. And readiness is not about time. It's about transformation. The reason you have been in this process is because God is making sure that when your moment arrives, you will be able to handle the blessing, sustain the elevation, and carry the anointing with wisdom. Think about David. He was anointed as king when he was just a boy, but he didn't step into his throne immediately. Why? Because there was a process he had to go through first. There were battles he had to fight, betrayals he had to endure, lessons he had to learn. If God had placed him on the throne too soon, he would not have been able to handle the weight of his calling. But because he endured the process, when his time came, he was ready. The same is true for you. What you are experiencing right now is not a delay. It is divine timing at work. It is God saying, I love you too much to give you something you are not prepared for. And while you may feel ready, God sees things you cannot see. He knows what's ahead. And He is making sure that when you step into your new season, you will thrive in it. So do not let frustration make you walk away from the promise. Do not let impatience cause you to step out of alignment with God's plan. Because the worst thing you could do right now is give up when you are this close to your breakthrough. The enemy knows how close you are. That's why the attacks have increased. That's why the doubts have been louder. That's why you have felt more resistance than ever before. Because he knows that if you keep going, if you keep trusting, everything will shift in your favor. And here's something powerful. Sometimes, right before the breakthrough, life will look the exact opposite of what God has promised you. If He has promised you financial abundance, you may experience financial struggle. If He has promised you healing, you may feel weaker than ever. If He has promised you elevation, you may feel like everything is falling apart. But do not be fooled. This is the final test. The question is, will you believe God's promise even when your situation says otherwise? Because faith is not about what you see. It's about what you know. It's about trusting that God is faithful even when things don't make sense. It's about holding on to the truth that if He said it, He will do it. And when your breakthrough comes, chosen one, it will happen suddenly. One day you will wake up, and everything will have changed. The opportunities, the blessings, the things you have been praying for. They will come together so quickly that it will feel like a dream. Right now, the enemy wants you to believe that nothing is changing, that your prayers are going unheard, that your struggles are in vain. But I need you to reject that lie, because the truth is, your breakthrough is already in motion. God has been working behind the scenes, shifting things on your behalf. Doors are being prepared. Resources are being aligned. People you haven't even met yet are being positioned to bless you. And just because you can't see it yet doesn't mean it's not happening. Think about the story of Daniel. He prayed, and from the very first moment he prayed, God sent the answer. But there was a delay in the spiritual realm. The enemy tried to block it. For 21 days, Daniel saw no evidence that his prayer had been answered. But the whole time, the miracle was already on its way. And that's where you are right now. You've prayed. You've believed. And the answer is already on the way. But there is a battle happening in the unseen realm, and your faith is the key to ensuring that your blessing reaches you at the appointed time. This is not the moment to give up. This is not the moment to question God's plan. This is the moment to hold on like never before. Because if you could see what was about to happen, you would not be discouraged. You would be excited. I know you're tired. I know there have been moments when you felt like walking away. But hear this. You are closer than you think. The very moment you decide to keep trusting, to keep believing, to keep walking in faith, that is the moment when everything will shift. The enemy would not be fighting you this hard if you weren't dangerous. If you weren't on the verge of stepping into something so big, so life-changing, so powerful, he wouldn't even bother with you. But because you are chosen, because you carry something valuable, because you have a divine purpose, the resistance has been intense. But what the enemy doesn't know is that you have already won. Because when God decides to bless you, nothing can stop it. Your time is coming. Your name is being spoken in rooms you haven't even entered yet. Your blessing is being prepared, and when it comes, it will not be small. Because you didn't quit when it was hard. Because you trusted when you had every reason to doubt. Because you stood firm even when it felt like nothing was working. And now, chosen one, you are about to see the hand of God move in your life in ways you never expected. So get ready. The delay is over. The breakthrough is closer than ever. And when it comes, it will happen so suddenly that you will know. It had to be God. You have come too far to turn back now. Every battle you have faced, every tear you have cried, every moment of doubt you have overcome, It has all been leading to this. This is your defining moment. The moment where you decide whether you will trust God completely or allow fear to steal what is rightfully yours. I know the enemy is whispering lies. I know your circumstances may not yet reflect what God has promised you. But that is exactly why you must stand firm. Because faith is not about seeing. It's about knowing. Knowing that the same God who carried you through the storm will be the same God who delivers your breakthrough. And right now, I need you to take a stand. Not just in your mind, not just in your heart, but with action. If this message has spoken to your spirit, if you know deep down that God is speaking to you, then I need you to declare it. Drop a comment below and say, "I trust you, Lord." Let heaven and earth know that you are standing in faith, no matter what, because this is what separates the many from the few. Many people hear the call, but few truly respond. Few have the courage to stand in faith when everything around them says otherwise. Few are willing to trust when the promise still seems far away. But you, chosen one, you are different. You are set apart. And if you stand firm in this moment, you will see miracles unfold before your eyes. This is your time. This is your confirmation. Do not let fear rob you of what is coming, because what is ahead is greater than what is behind. What God has planned for you is bigger than what you can imagine. So make your declaration now. Say it aloud. Type it in the comments. I trust you, Lord. And then watch what happens next. What God has planned for you is far greater than anything you have imagined. The struggles, the waiting, the battles, they were not in vain. Every single moment was preparing you for what is about to come. You may not see it yet, but heaven sees you. God sees you. The very things that have been delayed will suddenly fall into place. The doors that seemed permanently shut will open wide. The things you thought you lost forever will return to you, multiplied. Because when God restores, He doesn't just give back what was taken. He overflows your life with more than you ever had before. And when it happens, chosen one, you will look back on this moment and realize that everything, the tears, the silent seasons, the lonely nights, the moments when you almost gave up, were all worth it. Because they led you here. They refined you. They strengthened you. And they prepared you for the blessing that is now on its way. Do not doubt. Do not waver. The shift has already begun. God has been aligning things for you, even in ways you cannot yet see. And in the coming days, you will start to notice it. Little signs, unexpected confirmations, sudden breakthroughs. This is your season of divine acceleration. So I leave you with this promise. God is faithful. He is not a man that he should lie. If he said it, he will do it. Your only job is to remain steadfast, to keep believing, and to trust that when the moment comes, you will step into the life you were always meant to live. Your time is now. Your breakthrough is near. And nothing, absolutely nothing, can stop what God has already set in motion for you. Are you ready to receive it? If this message has spoken to your heart, let me know in the comments. Type Amen if you receive this word. Share your thoughts. Tell me, how has God been preparing you? Let's encourage one another and declare together, our time has come. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe and stay connected, because this is just the beginning. God is moving, and I want you to be part of this journey. Stay strong, chosen one. Your breakthrough is closer than you think.